So I've been using the iPhone 15 Pro for a while now, and today I'm going to be throwing it away and switching to the Samsung Galaxy S24 Ultra. Now, I want to start by saying how many good colors the Samsung S24 Ultra lineup has. Don't get me wrong, the iPhone Pro lineup also has really good colors, whereas with the S24 lineup, there's a lot more personal colors. There's titanium blue, titanium orange, and then the titanium green, which I have right here. And then obviously there's your professional colors like titanium black and titanium gray, which, by the way, if you noticed, I was saying titanium. This year, Samsung has integrated titanium into the S24 lineup. Now, I find it kind of interesting considering how a few months ago when the iPhone 15 Pro was being announced, they also used titanium.
Incredible photos and videos. And we are thrilled to introduce our astonishing new titanium design. This is the most premium material we've ever used in an iPhone enclosure.
There's been a lot of talk that like Samsung is basically copying Apple. But what I have to say to people like that is, if something is good, obviously you're gonna want to copy it. If you see a good feature, it makes sense that Samsung wants to copy it. So honestly, good job on Samsung for including it, because it makes the phone more durable and it also means the phone weighs a lot less.
I've got to say though, Android has really stepped up their game when it comes to design. I mean, look at both of these phones side by side. They look very, very similar, and they're both very, very clean design. The only thing I'll give to Apple in this case is the edges. So on Samsung, I don't know why, but the edges are so sharp, like it kind of pokes you. Whereas on iPhone, it's a nice round edge, which is a lot easier to hold. Other than that, the designs are very similar and they're both top notch. And if you're in the US, you get a SIM card slot, which you don't with the iPhone 15.
So if you're like me, once you start using the Samsung, you're gonna notice one thing very immediate, and that is the camera cutout instead of a notch. It's actually pretty cool that Samsung did something like this because one, it means there's more space instead of a big cutout on display, and two, it just looks a lot more clean. Another thing is DeX. Now, for those of you who don't know what DeX is basically where you're able to use your Samsung phone as basically a computer. So you'll notice how I connect my USB-C hub, and then I can use my keyboard, my mouse, and it basically transforms my phone into a computer. Now guys, don't get too excited. This isn't gonna allow you to just throw away your computer. I mean, if you have been using a Chromebook, then yeah, I guess you can throw it away, because that's what this basically is. You can browse the internet, you can use Android apps on your computer. If you have something to write, you can use Word or Google Docs. All that can be done using the DeX that's provided on Samsung. On iPhone, there's nothing like this. And I actually see people using it from time to time. For me, I had a lot of fun playing with it. Oh wait, if you are enjoying the video, be sure to like and subscribe. It really does help the channel a lot. Anyways, back to the video. Now, for those iPhone users who have both an iPhone and a Mac, you'll know how convenient using an iPhone with a Mac is. You can see text messages on your Mac, you can respond to text messages, you can answer calls on your Mac. You know, it's really integrated. That's one good thing about the Apple ecosystem, and a lot of things just come together and work together. But I was actually surprised that there's actually something similar like this on Samsung, and arguably better than on Apple. It's called Phone Link. So basically, you can connect your Samsung phone to your Windows computer using Phone Link, and basically you're able to see text messages, see phone calls, see pictures, transfer files between both of them, see notifications that you get on your phone, on your Samsung device. You can also use apps that are on your Android phone on your Windows computer. With some apps, like for example TikTok, it kind of breaks the app, I'm not gonna lie. Like, it's just weird in a type of way, but it's still a nice feature to have. And of course, you can share files between your Windows computer and your Samsung phone, just like you would do with AirDrop. Now, speaking of AirDrop, Samsung has had this feature too, which is Samsung Quick Share, but the only limitation was that you could only share files with other Samsung users. And if you know Android, you know that Android is such a vast jungle and there's all different types of phones. So being limited to only Samsung is really not the best. But that's been changed. Now Android's Quick Share is going to be coming to all Android devices and even Windows computers. So instead of sharing files with only Samsung users, you can share with all Android users.
If you missed the Samsung event where they announced the Samsung Galaxy S24, let me just summarize it for you. AI.
Today, we'll show you all the possibilities that Galaxy AI holds.
AI functionality.
As we enter this next era of AI.
The AI, it's what allows AI features.
See what I mean? But anyways, they've jam-packed AI into this Samsung Galaxy S24, and that's one good thing that I like about it compared to iPhone. One big thing is circle to search. So if I go to Instagram and I decide to search for some shoes, as you can see, there are a lot of options just scrolling by. And if you didn't know any better, you wouldn't know where to find shoes. Say for example, you found shoes that you liked, you wouldn't know where to find these shoes or where to buy them. That's where circle to search comes in. So I'm gonna let's select this one, and let's say for example I like the bottom right shoes, so I don't know where to find them. I simply press and hold the home button, and then the Google circle to search shows up. I then circle the shoes that I'm looking for, and it's just gonna search, and boom, there we have it. And then I can see the results of the shoes, I can see the different types of shoes, and just like that I know which shoes I'm looking at. The Notes app is another example of where Samsung's AI really shows its power. So for example, I write the word my, I then tap on the AI button, and I can translate the my into French. As you can see, that's the French translation of the word my, not only with writing but also through typing. The sentence I've written right here, I simply hold the AI button and I can simply translate it into French. There's also summarizing, but to do that the minimum word count has to be 200. And it doesn't stop there. Samsung also has an AI feature called Live Translate. I can call someone who speaks a different language and both of us can communicate, because Samsung will basically speak to them in their language and then respond with what they said in my language. So basically you can have a two-way conversation.
So for those of you who travel a lot, like visiting other countries, this feature is definitely for you. But I wouldn't get too excited, because if you go through Samsung's page, in the very bottom where they have all the labels in tiny text, you'll notice that it says this feature is free up until the end of 2025. But it also means this feature might not be free after the end of 2025, which is really disappointing considering this is the main argument to get this phone. I wouldn't get this phone simply for the AI features. It's definitely a nice phone, but if you're getting it just for AI, I'll reconsider. Another thing I actually really like about this phone is fast charging. Now it's interesting because the S24 Ultra has a much bigger battery than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. But the Samsung S24 Ultra charges a lot faster than the iPhone 15 Pro Max. So it means if the battery's completely drained out, I can plug it in and in just about 30 minutes, the battery goes from 0 to 50%, just like that. Whereas unfortunately on the iPhone, it just doesn't charge as quick. And in terms of the cameras, both the iPhone and Samsung have really good camera quality. With the Samsung, you can shoot up to 8K video footage, compared to the iPhone, which top maxes out at 4K footage if you ever see yourself shooting up to 8K. But I feel like the best way, the most unbiased way, is just by showing you guys pictures taken on both of these phones. I'm gonna label them A and B, and throughout the pictures decide which one you prefer between the two. Okay, so did you guys pick out a phone, A or B? Well, if you picked A, then that means you actually preferred the S24 Ultra. And if you picked B, then you preferred the iPhone 15 Pro. So be sure to tell me down in the comments below which one you picked, A or B. I'm actually curious to know which one everyone prefers, being unbiased and not knowing which phone took which pictures.
Now, before getting this S24 Ultra, one of the major reasons I was having second thought was because of the resale value of both of these phones. Everyone knows how good iPhone is at keeping their resale value. I mean, let's take for example the S23 Ultra and iPhone 14 Pro Max. Now, mind you, the iPhone 14 Pro Max is 5 months older than the S23 Ultra. And the examples that I searched for have less space than the S23 Ultra. So you would expect the S23 Ultra to cost more, but no, that's not the case. Even with all these flaws, the iPhone 14 Pro Max still costs more than the Samsung Galaxy S23 Ultra. One of the main reasons for that is because of how long Apple supports their phones. For example, the iPhone 6s, which came out in 2015, got a security update this year. This is unheard of for any Android device. Luckily, that's going to change because with this release, Samsung announced 7 years of OS and security updates. That means you can expect to get updates. If you got a phone this year, you can expect to get updates through to the year 2031. Samsung has definitely stepped up their game to to match what Apple has been giving.
But yeah, that's about it. I really enjoyed using the S24 Ultra. I'm sure there's a lot of features that I didn't get into that I'm still gonna discover every single day as I continue to use this phone. But overall, it's a really great phone. Anyways, that's it for today. Be sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss out on any videos that I drop. But yeah, I'll catch you guys next time.